Hey, my friends, and welcome. This is Jacqueline Hyacinth, and it is July 22nd, and it is the feast day of our beloved Mary Magdalene. And today, I had the privilege of sitting with over 100 mermaids from all over the world on a Zoom call with one of my teachers, former teachers. And so we were just deeply immersed in the waters of the myrrh and the mysteries of Magdalene. And so I come to you satiated in the feminine waters. And so I wanted to come and make this video. Today I also elected to announce the offering of my autumn pilgrimage retreat through the south of France. And so I am going to introduce that to you and share a little bit with you about my story and and go from there. So I am from New York, if you can't tell from the accent, and it was about 2009, and we were living in Brooklyn, New York at the time, me and my son, and he was a teenager at the time. And I started to have a very powerful spiritual awakening, like one that shakes you. And I used to be woken up in the middle of the night by angels and goddesses and have these elaborate dreams of places with directions of where to go, what to do, and that ultimately I was going to be traveling a lot, and that there were some missions I needed to complete and some things I needed to do that were obviously related to past lives and reclaiming soul parts and power spots and dragon grids and a lot going on that sounds very mythical and out of this world for people that are not in the realms of this type of remembering. So it was like very new for me, and also it was not. And so I found my way first to Brazil, and then, I would come back to New York and I'd be gone for like months at a time. And then I was all over Asia, traveling by myself and doing different types of work. And then while I was in Asia, the call was coming in really strong. Europe was like, we're next, come on through. My people are mostly Italian, and we have French blood on my mother's side, of course, the matrilineal. We don't know who, but we know that that is so. And I never was aware that I was connected to France before until I landed. Now, if you know anything about me, I'm not an academic. I am a straight mystic. I do what I can to like get around, but really what has been my way is direct no cease, direct connection with the divine, and then I fill in the blanks, right? Like I'm somebody who goes to the gravesite and realizes that such and such died there, and then I go and read about it and realize it's confirmed. So that's kind of how I was operating at that time. And So I end up in the south of France. Like all places, I don't really know yet where I'm going or what's happening. But I know enough. The earth is communicating. I'm being supported. And I'll just give you like some little snippets of I would be on a public bus driving through the Languedoc, and I would be passing by a little village, and my whole body would light up like electricity. And I would be literally felt like I was getting pulled off the bus. And so I would end up going to these places and meeting people that I have already known before, and rekindling relationships with ancient soul families, Cathar families, Templar families, guardians of what we would call the Grail or the teachings of Magdalene and Yeshua, and just really people who knew, like who understood that there was something sacred here and we were a part of something together. So in that, I traveled all over, the south of France. Of course, ended up at all these sacred sites, and spent some time there. And I was in Carcassonne, and I was on a train. A movement is where I get a lot of the information, clearly. And I step off the train, and I literally hear myself say out loud, okay, I can live here. And then it was like, another part of me snapped in, and I was like, who just said that? So I get off the train. Okay, no problem. Anyway, I end up back at the village where I was staying. And that night, we're sitting at dinner with, a group of people. And then there is an older gentleman who is such a dear brother who comes to dinner, and he starts to talk about this rental house in Carcassonne, and that it's this Irish woman is letting it out, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm moving to Carcassonne. Can you show me the home? And he's like, yeah, tomorrow. Anyway, within like a 48-hour turnaround, I am signing a lease and calling my son and telling him that we are moving to the south of France and that I'm coming home to dismantle our life. I laugh and cry simultaneously because it was such an enormous initiation and undertaking for me. And so we did. We like sold everything we owned. It was a rental there. We, you know, gave my car to my sister, like just did a whole thing, and got some visas and went. And so I lived in Carcassonne for some time with my son, and we every day were like in the land, climbing the castles, and I literally lived down the street from a Cathar castle, and my home was a hiding place, which I realized while I was living there, that there were families that were hidden downstairs in my home. And anyway, my walls were made of the original Cathar castle, like not the Disneyland one that has been like sort of rebuilt, but literally when the original castle fell, and the locals would go and collect the stones, and they were in my kitchen. So this is just to give you a little bit of a heads up. So anyway, I rekindled relationships with the land and the peoples, and southern France is a living mystery school. There is so much going on there, and it is accessible to some of us, and it is beautiful. And so anyway, we lived there for some time, and then I left and ended up, going to Israel and other places that I was called throughout the world, and lived in Italy as well. All of these like Magdalene lineage connection was very, very alive for me, my son, and our family. And so after I left, after many years, I would go back every year and stay for months at a time in particular places. And yeah, so my relationship there has grown, and my connection with the land has grown, and I would love to share it with you because it is so rooted in the ancient. And I want to just remind us, for those that know or don't know, these sites, these caves, these ancient lands, they have been sacred even before Magdalene and the story of the Grail and the lineage of Mary, of Magdalene and Yeshua's children. This land was sacred to the goddess Diana and many other goddesses throughout time. So the Pyrenees, the Dragon Mountains, like this is very deep, primordial, ancestral land, and it is alive, and it speaks, and it is like a living inheritance for those that are called to reconnect and rekindle this deep remembrance. So the troubadours, as I said, the Knights Templars, the Cathars, the Essenes, all these goddesses, there's just so much there, and it becomes animated and alive, and with a lot of love and humility, these spaces open up to us, and we learn directly from them. And so I would love to share that with you. the land is so alive and brimming, and the people we meet and the meals that we share and the laughter and the tears. I mean, it is like a full on beautiful experience. And so we're going to travel to, there's like a million sacred sites, so we cannot do all of them. But for this particular journey, we're going to spend about 5 days in the Languedoc and going to some very ancient and beautiful places. And then we're going to head our way down south, and go to Saint Baume, and head to Sainte Marie de la Mer, and then Marseille, and just, yeah, tune in and awaken the remembrance of the Magdalene within. So I know there's so much talk about the Magdalene right now, and rightfully so. Her consciousness, the feminine Christ consciousness, is coming through humanity, the Sophianic wisdom. And it is something that we awaken within ourselves. Like, a lot of us start with a quest outside of ourselves, like following her trail. But all the time, it is an inner pilgrimage. It is remembering the lost mysteries and the scrolls that live inside of us. So I will be there supporting that kind of inner exploration, and there will be ceremony, and we will be living as, walking as a living ritual of devotion, and and celebrating and nourishing and laughing and praying. And so it's what I'm calling a 9-day novena. So every day we will light a candle, and we will walk in a particular way, and open the veil. And it's incredible that this timeline is being called in, like this deep, magical, like going there in spring and summer is a little different than autumn. This is like it's a very, very different type of energetic. And we know that the ancestral realms are alive, and the veils are so thin at this particular time of the year. So we will be, moving through that domain. So let me see if there's anything else I want to share with you. This is for a small group of women, and so it's just how I like to roll. It's just, it's my way. And so if you are one of these women, I welcome you. I'd like to sit and talk with you and just see if there's a good fit between us. It requires us to be somewhat physically agile and fit, because like all of these ancient sites all over the world, it requires some work to get there. In order for you to get the treasure, you've got, you climb the mountain, you pilgrimage up. So we can go slow, but it does require you to have like strong legs and a heart that can handle it. So just be aware of that. And I think that's it. But I will just say that she is forever present. Like, even when you'll see the tears, even when I think she's not with me, she's with me. She shows up. Any client that has sexual abuse, like anything that is like, she just like slides in and is so pronounced, her consciousness, her wisdom, and she helps us to turn to that in ourselves. She helps us awaken in us the primordial intelligence that was there, this heart that is so illuminated and that is filled with love. She teaches us how to move with the rivers and to experience all of the atrocities of life and still stand. And, it's not a path for everybody. It is a priestess path. Magdalene is a full spectrum woman, whether you see her as a mystic, a saint, a mother. I mean, she's all of it. And so are we. And so that is part of the teaching. It's like, there's so much that she's a myrrh bearer. Like, she shows us who we are. And so on this journey together, we'll walk with her. She'll walk with us in our hearts and guide us and lead us, and we'll do that together. And I look forward to it. So if you feel called to join us, please let me know, and we will get you some information. It is life-changing. There's no question about that. I won't sell it because I can't. It's so deep in the soul, and it is everything. And I have reorganized my life around it, and continuously, seemingly. So we will watch the unfolding. But if you want to come and be with me, and if you feel like I'm somebody that you're meant to be with on this journey, I will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much for watching this video and being with us, and I'll see you soon. Ciao for now.